We should do something.
Hi, welcome. It's episode 44 of the 90-Day Website Mastery Podcast. We are live. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube and, of course, LinkedIn. The perfect companion to our 90-Day Website Mastery Program and our recently published book, Web Proud. Perhaps you're even joining us on Instagram. We're live there right now. And, of course, the podcast where we've recorded this and you're perhaps listening it to us afterwards. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. As I said, it's our 44th episode. We're excited to bring you even more valuable insights and practical advice to help you enhance your website's performance. Join us as we explore strategies to make your website work harder for you, reigniting your proud in your online presence. That's what it's all about, is it not, my perfect co-host, Pascal Fintoni?
Thank you very much. Yes, episode 44, which is really quite exciting. I did have a quick, sneaky preview at the show notes. So, through our 4 segments, we'd be, adding to our deliberations when it comes to adding tech to the website or using tech as a content creator. And of course, John and I would give you some advice on what to do, those small adjustments that can make a big difference to your website experience, but also for you, as you heard a moment ago, to feel proud of your website again.
We've got a jam-packed episode coming up. We've given it the title, Should You Add AI Chatbots to Your Website? And the Google I/O 2025 recap, and of course, much more. So should we dive in, Pascal?
Let's do this.
It's you ask, we answer.
Now, this question, Johnny, was interesting. I was at a networking event recently, not far from Durham City Centre, and people always kind of ask me questions, which is lovely, and they've been in a receipt, many of my contacts, in terms of offers and adverts to have an AI chatbot. So I'm just going to quickly look at the question because I think the wording is really, really important. So do chatbots really work on websites? I'm seeing a lot of adverts for 24/7 AI-powered website guides, but I'm nervous about mishaps and giving customers a bad experience. What say you, Johnny Ross?
It's a great question. Should websites have chatbots? I think some people are scared of them as well. And some of the responses you get can be quite robotic and not really on brand and not really answering the question. But I think we are missing a trick of how they can assist, how they can reduce processes, give us more time, be more effective. And the power of chatbots now, with how AI has grown over the last even just months, never mind year or two. If you set them up correctly and give them access to some of your knowledge base, to understand really the tone of voice and to sort of give the boundaries of what the AI bot can and can't do and know when to hand over to a real human. And also to have a really clear objective of what it is that, what part of the customer journey do you want that bot to sort of fulfill? If you take all that into account and you invest in the setup time of the chatbot, then I think that's the solution. So the last thing to do is just sort of, find a cheap chatbot or a free chatbot and just add it to the site and turn it on. I mean, that's a recipe for robotic nonsense that's not going to be helpful. But the reality is that customers are expecting quick answers. I mean, you type a 20-page, you can put a 20-page document into any of your favorite AI platforms and say, tell me about this. And in a second, it's read it and it's giving you the whole lot. People expect very quick answers. So I think for that reason, not being available, not answering the phone, not replying to an email, not being there at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. is a big issue actually for your business. But secondly, it's about investing the time in it to make sure that you're not just giving these standard robotic answers.
I mean, For me, any form of automation on a website fills me with dread. In fact, if you were to Google my name, there's still somewhere a photo of me at a conference with the caption, "Automation will make you look like fools," because there's not enough examples out there, Johnny, of this working well. Even bigger brands. And I mean, it's very unfair because, of course, the media will always report on the stories of mishaps and horror and AI chatbots swearing at people and so on. Although there are people on purpose trying to break the chatbot. So for me, is back to you always saying, what is your motivation here? And if your motivation is to provide a better service, a better online experience, then it's a good starting point, as opposed to asking the chatbot to do something you don't like doing. And I think with regard to the sense of overwhelm, particularly on content-rich website, I can see actually a very kind of finite and very narrow scope of work for this AI chatbot. So what I don't think would work particularly well is for me to arrive on website homepage and within millisecond to have this weird pop-up with either the very kind of generic form of chatbot or a pretend human, that pretends to be. So I think for me, it's back to looking at the website, and is there anywhere within the entire website where you could say that's complex, that's rich in content, and we think that this would add value, and actually this idea of to be seen and heard being helpful, but actually dedicating the AI chatbot for a specific part of your website as opposed to the entire website. And I think to your point, it would allow you to educate the AI assistant better, would allow you to monitor what's going on. And if we take the example of maybe a very rich blog or very rich case studies, I think also the website visitors will be a bit more forgiving if it's imperfect as an answer, as opposed to being right on the homepage where there's an expectation for the chatbot to have understood the entire business, if that makes any sense. And I think within that, that would work, particularly well. But my preference, to be honest with you, Johnny, I would say just don't do it because others are doing it your way. So I think the introduction of the AI chatbots is an extension of your business values and how you want to be different.
Yeah, and I like what you were saying about choosing a part of your website, because it goes back to having a look at the customer journey and deciding at what stage in that journey would you where do you see the enhancement could make a difference, and see it as enhancement, see it as a digital assistant that that creates a better customer journey, a better user
Mm.
journey, and whether that be just speeding the signposting up of something, or whether, if you know that they're on this particular page, this is what you want that user to do, and so perhaps that's what the chatbot could do. But yeah, I can't reiterate enough that it's all about the setup, and it's all about the things that you include and tell it, and the boundaries that you set, and the workflows that you set, and making it really understand when to pass someone over to a real human.
On that very point, just to close on that, I make the parallel between the amount of effort, reflection, and prep is the equivalent of having a new member of staff. So don't think because you're going for the AI chatbot, you can do this in minutes. It will take you the same amount of days, if not longer, to plan this, prepare it, and review it, of course, as you would.
Yeah, for sure. So, should you add AI chatbots to your website? Well, that is up to you, but hopefully we've got you thinking. Let's move on to our second segment, website stories.
So this is a special one, actually, and people saw this from the title. I want to review with you some of the highlights from the Google I/O 2025 conference. So people perhaps are not aware, Google has an annual conference, about 3 days, primarily addressing the needs of developers who are creating Google-based products and services for their clients. But you can glean some information that we would need as website managers and people who enjoy doing the ethical side of SEO. So this conference actually was almost part two of last year's conference. And I will say that it was primarily about AI. It was primarily about the different operating systems called Gemini. And there's lots in there to almost be intrigued and enthused, but it liked, if I may be critical, it liked that real application for businesses. So one thing that you're not going to do, I think, over the course of a number of episodes is translate that thinking, okay, you can do all of this, but what are the practical application? So yeah, people can get excited by looking forward to Google Meet, where you can have live translation. So literally, if you was using Google Meet, you could I could speak to you in French, you would hear me in English, and you could actually speak to me in English, and I could hear you in French. That could be quite fun. They introduced in Google Beam, where now will be actually 3D within that kind of window of view, which I think is very interesting. Yes, looking at glasses. Yes, looking at all sort of agent that can do things for you. I think that's a bit of a play at this moment in time. Yes, the image creation is better. Yes, the video creation is better. Yes, they have introduced, which I think is a bit grand, a filmmaking app called Flow. And all this is really, really interesting. But I think for me, I want to learn about search. I want to learn about search behavior. I wanted an indication of what we need to do to adapt, accordingly. So when it comes to searching, so on behalf of our future customers, as opposed to us, the business owners and website managers, searching is going to get pretty exciting because now it's what they call multi-modal. Be able to speak your search, as you've done today. You'll be able to use your mobile phone camera. You'll be able to sketch what you're looking for, which is absolutely crazy. You'll be able to type it and so on and so forth. And what they've introduced, what they call the AI mode. So we've had some inkling of what this will look like, Johnny, with the AI summaries appearing within the main search results page. But AI mode would be almost its own parallel way of searching. You could be able to do the kind of things we've done so far with all the other platforms. But where AI mode is very different to the AI summaries is that it will be very, very media rich. So to date, the AI summary on any searches, Johnny, are primarily text-based. So you get a bunch of results, really, with the hyperlinks. But AI mode will also translate that content into infographics. They will replicate videos if they have to. There'll be audio summaries. They borrow this from Notebook LM and so on. So what we have here is a situation where search results using AI mode would be a very media-rich mode, and you interact with that page of results. And that means that, frankly, give it another 12 months, and there would be no website traffic to speak of. And that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for marketers. That's going to be tough for business owners, because how do you then measure the success for your business if you don't have the cause and effect of, I'm doing what Johnny and Pascal have said, I'm doing all the content, I'm doing all the adjustments and so on and so forth, but I've got nothing to show for it. And we're going to have to start to get used to something that I've spoken about, of course, 2-3 years ago, that kind of zero-click way of building an online brand and business. So AI mode is obviously something that you're not going to revisit out there, but searching is going to get more exciting and more interactive for the searchers. Before the brand managers and business owners, we're going to see less and less evidence that what we're doing is working.
Yeah, I don't know if I was surprised or not, but what was big for me was that they had a 10-minute recap, which I think we're going to put in the show notes.
We are, yeah.
And I think Google search only got mentioned for maybe about 20 seconds because the moment they mentioned Google search, it moved straight onto AI mode, which was basically not Google search as you know it. And so I think this is a really valid point in terms of what is going to happen to website traffic. All of the optimizations that we tell you are absolutely going to help you climb the ladder in AI and be seen in AI. Where I think where I think you're going to win with AI is actually being niche. So because the query becomes longer, so we go onto AI and we ask, a couple of sentences. We say, we want real detail. I'm looking for this particular thing. These are the things I want it to achieve. This is a bit about me. There's lots of detail there. And so the AI is then powerful enough to then find something that's a really good match. So where you're going to win is by niching down and being very clear in your content, what niches you serve, what value you add, who you specifically typically work with, or who your particularly customers are. So I think those are the things. I've sort of jumped ahead in terms of, okay, well, what's the so what, and what do we need to do here? And
Mhm.
I think that's a really important part to start thinking about. How can I help the machines really understand who our perfect customers are, who our ideal ones are, and really what we're brilliant at. And I think that's, you've got to move away from we can sell anything to anyone, anyone needs our services. I mean, that's, so old, and with AI, it's not going to work in the slightest. But then the exciting part of me is some of what it can do is just fascinating. We were talking in the green room earlier just then around this idea that Google will, with your permission, be able to literally look at all of your data in terms of all interactions that you have, whether that be in notes, whether it be emails, whether it be how you use the maps, the locations you go to, and take all of that learning, that sort of knowledge base, and be able to turn it into giving you very quick and easy replies to emails, giving you all sorts of stuff. It's slightly disconcerting, and it sort of starts thinking, is this going to take my brain away? But then at the same time, it's fascinating where they see this going, and the automation and the productivity and the efficiency that it can achieve.
For me, what would be interesting is, so to your point, this is about the art of being explicit. And that's been the case for quite some time, but this is it, and I very, very kind of, rashly wrote an article last week saying, is 2025 the make or break year for content marketing? What I meant by that is, if you've been hesitant, I think it's time to really go for it, because those AI summaries, or the AI mode with all the text and the images and the graphics. And by the way, what the AI mode will do is translate your website content graphically without your own graphics. So AI, Google will produce graphics that will summarize your business. It will create bar charts with your kind of revenue, if it's been publicly available and that kind of thing. So all that media content will be created by the platform itself, but it can only be inspired by the information you've chosen to share. So if you've been a bit, timid with your case studies, if you've been a bit too generic with, who is it for, what is it for, and that kind of things, then your AI summaries will be the poorer for it, or you'll be simply invisible as part of the top level research. But for me, this idea of, for example, Johnny, you had an exchange via email with either a prospect or a customer, and they ask you a couple of questions. You've shared your expert knowledge. That's, at this moment in time, remains an email exchange. You could ask Google Gemini to say, well, can you extrapolate this email exchange and convert this into an article for my website? So there's going to be some very, very interesting, things you can do down to your imagination. And I think, for all of us, we can look forward to some additional way of working. But I think you're absolutely right when you say the search engine experience of the 90s, 2010s is going to be well and truly gone within the next 12 months.
Yeah, it really is. And I know myself how little I use Google, the standard Google search now. It's it really has changed the landscape. You mentioned something there which I think is really important to highlight, about data points in terms of reviews and case studies, because part of you going to AI to ask for something is that you want a company that's that's good, that's going to be able to deliver what I want them to deliver. And so Google, more than anything, is going to be, or sorry, all of the AI bots are going to be using more than anything those additional data points. And like Pascal says, if you don't have many case studies, or if they're quite generic, then not only will you not rank very high, but you will be invisible. So this is nothing new. We've always said case studies, we've always said reviews, but if you imagine that AI is now only going to deliver 2 or 3 results, perhaps, well, I mean, now's the time you've really got to have them and be explicit about your niches. So yes, an interesting conference, and exciting times, especially if you want some new glasses. um, but yeah, we'll unpack over the next few weeks in terms of what how you can play the system and make sure that you are being considered, your business is being considered. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Pascal.
Not at all, pleasure. And if I may, with regard to your comment on content case studies and so on, if I may, we have an entire chapter in the book dedicated to that.
We do. Web Proud at your favorite bookshops, especially Amazon. Do Google it or Amazon it, and you'll find, yeah, we do have something all about case studies. Let's move to the website engine room.
Now, in this segment of the show, Johnny and I suggest one app each, or maybe a piece of kit or a software solution that can make life easier as a website manager and website content creator. So, Johnny, what is your selection?
So it's on the theme of AI. It's video generation and in fact, video creation from an AI-powered tool. Hey Gen, I've been watching this for quite a while now. Lifelike avatar-based videos. You can personalize it, scalable, create really easy to create engaging content for customer communications or perhaps in internal training. And I've seen a number of examples. I mean, I've even seen the likes of the NHS using this internally, using AI generated videos to talk to their staff. So this is, a well-known brand that you wouldn't have expected to adopt things like this. But if I'm seeing it in the NHS, then come on, if you're not considering this and starting to play with these tools, then, if we think the NHS is behind, do you know what I mean? So, so heygen.com, we'll put it in the show notes. That's a tool that I think you should all have a play with. I'm not saying that we all want to be watching AI videos. I'm not saying that that human touch points are not right, but there will be a place for it, and you just need to understand where in your business that is. And if you're not working on these things, your competitors are.
What is interesting about something like HeyGen is back to imagination. So HeyGen makes an offer, and they suggest ways to use it. As they call the use cases. But I find that actually many a time you come up with a better idea. You come up with a better reason to use it that isn't necessarily part of the promotional side of HeyGen and many others. So I would like people to explore that as you recommended, but literally saying, all right, I've got a short list of options here from the inventors themselves. But actually, when I think about my business and my customers and so on, maybe there's something else I could do altogether with it. Which would be, and my also what I would say about this, forgive me, Johnny, is please don't use AI and HeyGen to create clones of yourself and cheat and pretend it's you and all that nonsense and that AI slop. And actually, back to the Google conference, there's been some backlash with their Flow filmmaking app because essentially people are saying, well, it's all fake, what bother? My selection is actually a video app as well. So we've done it again without talking to each other. We've selected something very, very similar. And it's all to do with the vertical videos. Now, people know my preference is always landscape. I'm a filmmaker, video creator at heart. But I've seen more and more now, Johnny, vertical videos being embedded on blogs and web pages. I think the format's becoming more part of the language of the internet. And actually, the vertical frame can convey kind of messages and feelings very, very uniquely. So we are looking for ways, and apps to create the vertical videos. Sometimes they cheat and use TikTok and then try and download and so on. And I'm saying, well, try this one instead. So Instagram, about a month ago, have released their own vertical video editing app called Edits. So they've not for long and hard by the name. Edit as in editing, so EDITS. The hyperlink is in the show notes. And what is interesting is it started to be very, very simple to the point where I was almost very dismissive, Johnny. So that's not very good. But little by little, they've added more and more features, almost kind of building the skill set of their user base. And I'm getting actually quite impressed with Edit. And what I like about it is it's a separate app. You don't have to pretend to have a TikTok account, or you don't have to try and work your way through an Instagram. but not post really and download on your mobile phone. It's dedicated to be a separate app on your phone for vertical video editing, which include images and that kind of thing. So edits by Instagram is my selection.
Nice. So we're not going to be seeing vertical cinemas then? Vertical screens in cinemas?
There are already film festivals for vertical movies.
Really?
Yeah. It must be, and basically the filmmakers have used the vertical frame to their
Wow.
advantage to create a very, very different visual experience. But it does exist, as there are now AI film festivals, of course.
And this is for I'm assuming for mobile adoption of watching a film on a mobile.
Yeah, but people go to the movies. I mean, they go into a proper movie theater and watch vertical films.
Video. Well, there we go. You heard it here first. Yeah, great tools. I was going to say this. So these are all sort of the apps or pieces of kit that can help you as a website content creator. Start being web proud of your website. So we're talking about video generation and how you can edit in tools like Instagram edits. Let's move on to our next section, which is the website call to action.
So, John and I would like to recommend the one change, the one adjustment that you should be making right now on your website. Johnny, what is your recommendation?
We go for nice, simple, easy things that can just optimize and make better experiences. Test your 404 page. Check what happens when you get to a page that's not found on your website. And is it totally flat and just doesn't add any value whatsoever? So why not brand it? Why not make it a bit more quirky? Why not add some helpful links, maybe a search bar, help guide lost visitors back on track and reduce frustration and take the opportunity to increase that experience. And the best ones for me are the ones that use a bit of wit, a bit of fun. You land on a 404 page and you get something a bit quirky, but you also get help in a guide to finding the right place across your website. So a really simple, easy thing to have a look at. Test your 404 page is my website call to action.
Wow, I love it. There's two examples that come to mind immediately. There was a consultant's website where it was a photo of him or her just going like this with their hands saying, sorry. And then you had the recommendation. Disney, for a while, had Wreck-It Ralph as the image and saying, well, the page was wrecked and so on. So you could have fun with almost mascots, if you will, as well as yourself personally. That's genius. I completely forgot about that one. So mine is a return to something that we mentioned quite some time ago, but in view of the AI summaries and the future AI mode on search, I think that we should all go back and take better care of our Google Business Profile listing, which is the Google Maps. Google Maps is still the Google's number one property, but also a small business secret weapon in my view. So I want you to almost walk into the shoes of a first-time customer or prospective customer. And when you look at your business profile, is it comprehensive enough? Is it actually doing enough to make it clear who do you help and how do you help them? But also, are you doing enough to use some of the many features that you're perhaps not aware of to showcase the different sections of your website? Because ultimately, you might as well. So I know that is back to what we discussed a moment ago. It's designed primarily as a listings, but if you think about all the features available to you, you can actually highlight the many, many different parts of your website as part of the information listed on Google Business Profiles. So have a big review and start to make sure you complete all of the fields, but go beyond the expected, surprise your customers, and make sure that your website sections shine through.
Google Profile is absolutely a fundamental of every business. You should absolutely be optimizing. Quick pro tip, add FAQs to it. The easiest way to add FAQs is go and visit the profile and ask a question yourself, and then you can then answer it as the admin. So use some frequently asked questions, take what you believe people will be asking, and start adding a few FAQs on there. It really does send the right signals to Google, especially if the content is around the themes and topics that you're trying to promote. So highly recommend adding some FAQs. But yeah, nice call, Pascal.
Thank you.
Great What a great episode again. Just focusing on should you be using AI chatbots and what happened on the I/O 2025 Google conference. We unpacked, and we are certainly going to be unpacking a lot more in future shows. We've given you some tools to help you as website content creators. And of course, we always finish with a website call to action, giving you that one change or adjustment that you could do to your website to start feeling web proud right now. And of course, there's the book Web Proud. That is a wrap for episode 44 of the 90-Day Website Mastery Podcast, your audio companion to the 90-Day Website Mastery Program. For more information, visit 90daymarketingmastery.com, where you can book a discovery call with either myself or Pascal. Pascal, any final words on what's been the highlight for you in this episode?
Is it the highlight, or it's more the feelings I've had now for a few weeks, which is, I've been involved in digital now for decades. I've never known a time where things are moving as fast as they are. I mean, for you and I, actually, if it wasn't for the discipline of preparing for the show, it would be so hard to keep up. And I don't want to worry people necessarily. What I'm saying is, we're here for you. We're doing the research, we're producing the show to keep you abreast of what you need to know and remember. But ideally, please take action, because the little gap right now in your content strategy or your website strategy could become a chasm within weeks, because the speed at which, everything is moving is quite something. I don't know how you feel about it.
I agree. And to reiterate, we are here for you. So if you do have any questions, any thoughts, any feedback, please do let us know. And of course, leave us a review. We would love a review. All of this hard work that we do, it would mean a huge amount to us for you to leave a review. That is all for now. We'll leave you with a fun video and audio montage to enjoy whilst you review your notes that you've been absolutely taking. Of course you have, and the action steps that you're going to take. We'll see you on the next podcast. Take care. See you soon.